houses who married the cool girl boy from your high school. What are they like now? My sister married the prom king starting running back from her high school. He got fat, but also is a nice dude who makes a killing running some kind of raw materials company. Doesn't talk about the past at all. Well adjusted. My brother married the popular girl. She was homecoming queen, prom queen, on varsity teams, in band, an honor roll student, beautiful, and super nice. 17-ish years and 2 kids later, she is still a sweetheart, beautiful, and athletic. My dad was super popular, prom king, valedictorian, class president, football captain etc. He has a high ranking, but normal roller a smallish to medium sized company. Pretty normal guy and a good dad. If brought up he will mention his high school years, but he doesn't brag. Good man. Everything about him screams cool. Even the way he doesn't bring up his awesome high school years. My wife was a hot girl that everyone gossiped about. She's still super hot, but is such a wonderful, supportive, loving person. It makes me sad no one took the time to get to really know her when she was young. Hey buddy, you did. That's all that matters. Mom was a cool girl. Still is. Still literally gets stopped by strangers talking about how cool pretty whatever she looks acts. But divorced husband cheated and widowed second husband died. So never really managed to get a happily ever after in romance. I've only seen her as a grown up of course. But going by pictures, what I remember as a kid, she hasn't changed all that much. I think sometimes she's too used to people being in her orbit and will get sad if something happens where she's not involved. Not overtly so, but you can see she's expecting everyone to always want her there. My mum was the nerdy girl who got all the A's and had zero social skills, and somehow managed to start dating my dad who was the popular, good looking guy who everyone thought would peak in high school. She was actually advised by her family and friends that he wouldn't give her the future she was hoping for. They got married at 19, had me when they were 20, and while they were pretty broke the first few years of my life, he paid for my mum to attend law school, started his own business, and 25 years later with 3 kids, they're still so in love and have a pretty cushy life. My dad actually met one of the loud voices who told my mum she was making a big mistake marrying him, and she had said how she always knew he would turn out well, which he found hilarious. My high school friend was a cool guy. Everyone liked him. Guys and girls. He never got into fights. Was always instantly invited everywhere, and girls totally swooned over him. He's still the same awesome dude. Hasn't changed a bit. He married an incredibly hot nurse. Wholesome. I like when stories end where the person continues being awesome. There are too many where they somehow let themselves go. Didn't marry her, but we dated for a bit. She moved to Arizona for college. Stayed there, then became a firefighter. Came out as gay and married a woman. We lost touch, but she seems happy. You had me in the first half. He had her in the first half, too. My best friend was prom king 14 years ago. Now he owns a successful small business. Never had a girlfriend. Never had a boyfriend. Not sure about his sexuality, but he's a kick-ass dude. Proud he calls me a friend as I'm an awkward introvert. Edit, thanks for the award you camel cum. I've only met one camel in my life and we didn't hit it off. He's waiting for you to realize you're in love with him, so you two can run away together. I'm an introvert and he's an extrovert. I never knew what to say to him in high school because he was so cool and funny. He intimidated me. Now our differences complement each other, I think, and we are very happy. Very sweet. How did you finally make a connection? She took off her glasses and shook out her hair. Then she was suddenly incredibly hot. I had 2 kids with a former prom king. He's a crackhead now. Yeah, I'm a mailman and I delivered the cool kid from high school his unemployment check. He was also living in the shittiest part of town and obviously got into drugs pretty bad. Apparently he peaked early. My brother was a cool guy in high school. Even now, over 20 years later, he has what we call his fans that follow him everywhere. He has this posse built up of a rotating cast of best friends. He'll shine all his star power on his pick of the week, then move on to another one. He's very charismatic. good looking, life of the party, so it's easy to navigate to him. He married the popular girl and his guy friends' wives are her friends. He can also be selfish, rude, dismissive and condescending. I tend to avoid him, mainly because it's always a production with his gaggle of friends always around. Reading these answers about prom kings, head cheerleaders, quarterbacks etc. just has me as a Canadian going wow. American high school really is like on TV. The high school experience just really isn't the same here. At least not in my experience. I don't even think our ideas of popular were really the same. Mainly due to how much less important sports are here. I think without football reigning supreme it allows for way more variation for what makes someone popular. She's still the nicest and gorgeous girl I ever met. Nothing changed. She is studying to be a pharmacist. That's something no one would guess. Since she always loved history and her school didn't have biology or chemistry. Edit we weren't from the same school. But she was one of the most popular girls from the school. Neighborhood and university class I met her on a graduation we both gave up. I didn't marry one, but my husband is friends with a few guys that peaked in high school and they feel the need to alive that shit. Still talking about the championship that got away 20 years ago. My mom was the cool girl all through high school, undergrad, grad school, but life didn't go that well. For most of her life, she had to be caring for someone in the family who was ill, and that took a huge toll on her. First it was her dad. Then it was me. I had childhood illnesses. Then her in-laws in quick succession. Then her dad again. And finally she had to nurse my dad until he passed away from a terminal illness. She was meant to be social and have fun. And instead she was forced to be around sickness and sadness for her best years. But she is a very happy and mentally strong person in general who made the best of things. She hosted a lot of people and events. My house growing up was full of people visiting and having fun. She's very charming and easy to talk to and has a lot of fans all the time. Though, my siblings and I find her social side rather annoying. She isn't like that with us, and she tells us her charming side is just an act, and the real her is a lady who is constantly critical of us for our own good. She likes having groupies hanging around. People who are happy to take her help and be grateful to her. She has very few friends who could be considered her equals. She also expects a lot from other people and is constantly disappointed. She wants to be the center of everything. She doesn't know to be a guest at anything. She somehow ends up running every event she's invited to. She sincerely believes she's helping, but it's just disrespectful sometimes. And when we tell her that, she doesn't get it. She likes to dominate everything and make decisions for everyone. We joke that if the Prime Minister was her friend, she'd somehow end up running the country for him. I'm the opposite of this question. I totally peaked in high school, was cheerleading captain, valedictorian, prom queen, super involved and outgoing. Now I'm fat and very unnoticeable, not pretty and maybe not ugly, just bland, and incredibly shy and reserved. Don't really have any friends, but married my high school sweetheart, who was quiet and mostly flew under the radar, and now he is outgoing, successful, and more handsome by the year. Everyone came here for a bad ending story and left with believe it or not happy endings, lol. My brother was a cool kid in his grade, which extra annoyed me because I was a year older and a lot of my friends asked about him. He felt a lot of pressure to stay the coolest kid, so he made a lot of shitty choices because doing blow is what the cool kids are doing, I guess. He went to rehab by the time he was 16. He pretty much threw his life away after that and has been in and out of jail and prisons since then, 16 years later. My brother was one of the hottest guys in high school and went on to be a model. He's still cool and hot to many, but now he's a bit fat. He's my brother, so he won the hot part in my opinion. But women still swoon, and he's so obnoxious. Think Matt Dillon, etc. Era. He got dumped by his model 17 years younger wife for a 26-year-old. He has impossible standards, and it's making him miserable. He's into these flashy shallow women. Overall he's doing really well, and his business is thriving. Damn, not even any of the cool kids' spouses are on Reddit, Instagram. Not sure if he was necessarily cool, but my dad was prefect and head boy of his school. got along nicely with everyone and was responsible. They didn't have prom there, so that was the highest honor you could probably get. Worked hard and all, and had his classmates help to tutor him. His grades didn't end up great, because he came in late to school once, and got after school detentions. He would go home late, and finish homework overnight. Then get up at the crack of dawn, to wash his father's bus, and be late to school again, more detentions. He dropped out, and transferred to another school. Now he's a retired policeman who is working in security to send me, and my siblings to school. Does his best still. In my mum's view he's still handsome, and she calls him a multitude of cute as nicknames that he pretends to hate. Life is always as tough as normal, but he keeps going. My husband was the prom king and star athlete. I was a super awkward marching band nerd with severe scoliosis and a heart condition. He's always been sweet, silly, smart and kind. Still can't believe we are married. Edit, I whipped up a proof collage link. Edit, to I'll add that we didn't go to the same high school, but we met in college. My confidence had drastically improved by then. I was still a dork though, and he was a college baseball player. Pitcher. Honestly, we are both dorks. Found out recently, 30 male, that my dad was extremely popular in high school from my aunt. I had no idea he was an all-star football player with lots of college offers, and was prom and homecoming king. Never talks about it, but he's doing well. 2 kids, a dog, and a loving wife. In my opinion he's still winning. Cool as duck, more open to new experiences, more love affirming, and supportive than ever. Got together when we were 17. We've been together 12 years. My dad was crazy popular. Prom king, salutatorian, running back, serious ladies man. He met my mom in a nursing class in college, which he took to meet girls lecture course, and he was the only guy in a sea of women. This was the 70s. They married. He became a car salesman, developed a terrible drug habit, and died of a heart attack at 52. Edit, the car salesman thing was in the 80s, so it was like American Psycho without all of the murder, but with all of the cocaine. All of it. I'm surprised there is any left. I hate to be the one that bursts everyone's bubble, but my husband was the good-looking athletic guy with a great sense of humor that all of the girls adored. I was the petite blue-eyed blonde cheerleader that he chased for all 4 years in high school. We ended up getting together after high school graduation, and were engaged 6 months later. I should have kept running from him, like I did in school. He's now an addict who is verbally and emotionally abusive. He's a compulsive liar, and he's stolen prescription medication from me to get high. He's very jealous, and has accused me of having an affair with every male I've ever worked with, all without any merit whatsoever. It got so bad at one point that he told me I needed to quit my job and stay home with my son. Then he criticized me for not having a job. I teach high school English, and he is jealous of my male students because he claims he sees the way they watch me and look at me. He's made my life heck. He criticizes and ridicules me for being a diabetic, saying he never intended to marry a cripple, which is hardly the case. I'm happy to say that he'll be getting served with divorce papers very soon. God help the woman who takes my place, because he can't do anything for himself. He's never paid a bill, made his own doctor appointments, etc. He's exhausting. He's also that guy who likes to tell our son what a stud he was in school and how he eventually got the girl he wanted. While dating, he portrayed himself to be the man he thought I would see as husband material. However, I quickly saw it was all an act shortly after we married. If I had it to do over, I would have left the country to avoid him. The only good thing to come out of our marriage is my son. I'm sorry that my story was the nightmare in the bunch. I'm just keeping it real. Husband and I went to different schools in different areas of the state. I guess he was kind of the cool bad boy of his school. While I did not know him during that time, I can tell you that we have been together for 24 years, and he is the most wonderful husband and father. I think he was grossly misunderstood back then, and would love to tell those teachers who basically said he would be nothing off